Tigre is a powerful but brain-dead archer who is the sole survivor of a brutal war. But his luck flips when he's captured by Ellen, a certified war baddie who wants him to stop being an NPC and join her squad to pack up her enemies. Instead of following the quest logs, Bro decides to flex his RIZZ and try to bag the princess instead. The plot kicks off right after a toxic lobby match between the Kingdom of Brune and ZHC Ted goes completely south. With the enemy team claiming the W, Tigre is left wandering the map after barely surviving a brutal onslaught from the ZHC Ted tryhards. While searching for remaining teammates, he spots Ellen, the absolute menace who led the massacre, about to log off and head home. With zero aura left to lose, Tigre tries to snipe her, but his aim is trash and he only manages to take out 2 of her mounts. Ellen doesn't even break a sweat, casually parrying his mid-tier arrows like she's playing on creative mode. But when she closes the gap, she decides not to end his run, choosing to take him back as her own personal royal prisoner instead. The next morning, Tigre wakes up to a massive sword in his face and meets Lim, the stoic baddie assigned to make sure he doesn't stay AFK all day. In the courtyard, Ellen orders him to showcase his archery stats using a basic bow her men generously provided. And after whiffing twice, he realizes the bow Ellen's NPCs gave him is more broken than a pre-patched DLC character. Suddenly, Tigre clocks an assassin trying to grief Ellen and drops a warning, prompting her to activate her wind-based dragon hacks for a quick shield, which sends the failed hitman into a full-on sprint. But Tigre adjusts for the broken bow's weight and snipes the guy's foot in 4K, absolutely stunning the guards who tried to sabotage his gear. After the lobby is safe, Ellen takes him to the throne room to glaze him for the save and apologizes for her men's toxic behavior. She offers to ban them permanently, but Tigre pleads for them to keep their accounts, showing he's got that soft boy compassion, which Ellen agrees to do. Tigre asks why he had to show off, and Ellen admits she needed proof that his op aim makes him worth keeping. She offers him a premium spot on her roster, but Tigre rejects the invite, claiming he needs to go home and defend his own server. But Tigre hits her with a hard pass, saying he's got to head back to defend his home turf from getting raided. A few days later, Tigre finds a baby dragon in the kingdom, and is hyped since he's never seen a legendary mob up close before. Suddenly, Ellen's voice spawns in, and when he turns, he catches her mid-bath and instantly pivots to avoid the fan service. Tigre is tweaking over seeing her exposed, but Ellen hits him with that negative aura, claiming a war maiden never falters even when the enemy sees her peaches and cream. Even when her enemy gets a full view of her peaches and cream, she stays cool. After escaping that situation, Tigre struggles to sleep that night. His brain is completely occupied by Ellen's plot and rice cakes. His gooning is interrupted by Rurik, who snitches that they caught a random old man claiming to be part of Tigre's inner circle. Turns out it's his loyal attendant Bertrand, who pulled up to drop some serious bad news. He leaks that their homeland, Alsace, is about to be raided by Tigre's biggest hater, Lord Zion, and a toxic army of 3,000 men. Hearing this, Tigre wastes no time and locks in to protect his home. But Ellen stops him right at the spawn point. A few days ago, Zion's father, Duke Felix, assigned Zion to crush Alsace and Tigre completely, even granting his son permission to deploy the dragons, a privilege that immediately excites him confident. Zion is literally foaming at the mouth to eliminate Tigre, whom he considers a total level 1 crook. Back in the present, Tigre is begging Ellen for a temporary release so he can go White Knight for his people. But while he's trying to find his words, his eyes drift back to her assets and he almost has a total brain malfunction. After getting his head back in the game, Tigre promises to return once his people are out of the danger zone. But Ellen draws her sword and tells him to quit being a main character, pointing out how mid it is to face 3,000 enemies solo. She tells him to stop being a delusional loser and use some actual macro strategy if he wants to save his home. Tigre hesitates, but notices she hasn't sent him to the Shadow Realm yet, meaning she's open to a trade. From the vibe, he realizes she's at least willing to listen to his plan. In a total noob-to-pro move, he asks Ellen to lend him her high-level army. The request leaves everyone shook because it sounds crazy coming from a prisoner. But Ellen just bursts out laughing at the sheer audacity of this man. She She agrees to the carry, but on one condition. Alsace becomes her property after Zion catches this L, and Tigre accepts as long as she doesn't treat his people like NPCs. With that settled, Ellen gathers a squad of 1,000 soldiers for Alsace. Then in the throne room, Lim is stunned he asked for help. Ellen admits she thought he'd just challenge her to an archery 1v1 instead. Still, she is curious to see how his plan will unfold. Shortly afterward, Tigre enters the room. He walks in looking like a straight-up hobo, so Lim and Ellen take it upon themselves to fix his hair and tidy up his fit. Tigre hates the look, but he keeps getting distracted by Ellen's cosplay tier outfit, leading her to tease him. Then they all head off to Alsace. Along the way, Ellen finds herself thinking about how she teased Tigre earlier. Despite her confidence, she worries about facing Felix's army. But Tigre tells her to stay calm because Alsace's terrain gives them the ultimate high ground. His confidence calms her, and she begins to see the strategic advantage in his thinking. Next day, as Zion's toxic army advances, Duke Felix is yapping to his assistant about Brune's future and how Zion is finally gonna prove he's not a mid-tier successor. He believes Zion is the perfect successor for him, so he can finally become king. Meanwhile, Tigre's loyal maid Tita is busy warning the locals that Zion is about to encircle the town like a sweaty camper. Her actions echo the instructions previously given to her by Bertrand. Alarmed, she rushes to the mansion and waits anxiously for Tigre to return while war rumors spread. Having already heard rumors of the coming conflict, inside Tigre's war room, she starts praying for a miracle, but Zion's soldiers burst in and start smashing everything like they're in a GMOD server. Suddenly, Zion's NPCs storm into Alsace, smashing property and carrying out orders to wipe the town off the map. Zion takes pleasure in watching the territory fall, yet he feels dissatisfied. He wants to do more than simply raise it. He considers unleashing the dragons but restrains himself, knowing they're just there to flex his father's overwhelming aura. He considers unleashing the dragons but restrains himself, remembering his father's command that the dragons are just a flex of Felix's overwhelming power. Back at the base, Tita is hiding and praying Tigre pulls up with the bow soon, but then Zion himself breaks in. Suddenly, someone breaks in, terrifying Tita. She goes downstairs and discovers Zion standing there. He declares his plan to personally delete Tigre's home. But Tita stands her ground for the home she shared with Tigre since childhood. Zion just slashes her clothes, intending to humiliate and dominate her. Tita desperately points a knife at him, but he disarms her easily and corners her. She prays for Tigre to spawn in while Zion laughs and forces her to the ground. Just as he's about to commit the ultimate sin, an arrow pierces his hand, making him scream like a scrub. And when he looks up, Tigre has finally locked on. In that moment, Tigre orders Tita to jump off, and when she does, Tigre leaps after her. His horse almost takes a massive L, but Ellen pulls up with the wind magic save, blowing Tigre's mind. She explains it's her dragon art, Arfar, a legendary blade that controls the server's physics. Tita starts bawling, admitting she only stayed behind to guard the family's black bow heirloom, which is basically a god-tier weapon. Suddenly, an arrow flies toward Tita's head, but Tigre catches it bare-handed and fires it back, deleting the archer instantly. Tita tries to heal Tigre's wounds, but Ellen reminds him the battle is far from over. Only then does Bro realize his main bow is trashed. With no other options, he equips the family heirloom bow and prepares to 1v3000 Zion's entire toxic squad. The next morning, Zion's army tries to rage quit and flee, so Tigre and Ellen hold a strategy meeting to map out their next devious lick. They decide to chase the enemy despite being outnumbered 3-1. Tigre drops a strategy that he claims will secure the win. Meanwhile, Zion is back at Camp Malding because he can't believe Tigre is duo queuing with ZHC-Ted's top-tier forces. He's seething in pain from his hand injury and orders a massive counter-offensive to pack Tigre up for good. Enraged, Zion orders a counter-offensive to crush Tigre once and for all. Soon after, his army mobilizes into an attack formation. And this time, he's deploying the dragons. Back at base, Tigre is doing a devious lick for rope after Lim dropped a strategy that needs it for some trapping hacks. Tigre gets jealous when Ellen claims she owns Tigre, screaming that she's not giving up her Pookie before running to finish the rope quest. With everything set, Ellen and the crew catch Zion's army lacking in the open field. Ellen shreds the front lines, while Tigre spams arrows to keep the NPCs from closing in. Suddenly, Zion spawns the Earth Dragon, and his soldiers encircle Tigre's squad, cutting off their escape like a toxic zone. Tigre tries to snipe the dragon, but his arrow shatters on the scale. Bro's regular gear is literally useless against this world boss. Seeing this, Zion mocks them and tells Tigre he's finished. But then Lim spawns in with a fresh squad, giving Ellen the opening to face the dragon 1v1. The sight leaves everyone stunned. She uses her dragon art to create a wind ball that literally lifts the dragon and slices it in half. Tigre is in awe, and Ellen admits she only used the hack because she knew ordinary humans would have been instantly clapped by it. With the dragon deleted, their forces press the attack. Lim uses her rope trap strategy to ambush the retreating soldiers. Lim realizes Tigre's people truly do love him, given how much they were willing to help. Meanwhile, Zion's generals are begging for a new macro strat, but he realizes he's royally cooked and orders a full retreat before a general dares to question him. Zion hits him with a Will Smith special, then immediately starts tweaking because his injured hand still has 0 HP. The whole army is calling him a total noob for retreating, but since orders are orders, they all start logging off the battlefield. But while they're dipping, Tigre and the squad keep griefing their backline, making Zion beyond tilted because he never saw this coming. Suddenly, Tigre pulls up on Zion's location and demands he surrender for being such an absolute menace. Zion refuses to take the L, accusing Tigre of betrayal for duo queuing with their literal enemies. Desperate to save his stats, Zion challenges him to a 1v1, and Tigre accepts without even blinking. Ellen is low-key impressed by the aura, as both of them mount their horses for the final showdown. While Zion is rocking a spear build, Tigre decides to keep it OG with his bow and arrow. Zion roasts him for using a coward's weapon, but Tigre isn't falling for the rage bait. He starts spamming shots, but Zion frame blocks 3 arrows, claiming his shield is a literal cheat code against projectiles. He charges in for the execution. He's fully confident he's winning the duel, but right at the last second, the final arrow pierces his shield and goes straight through his arm, making him scream in immeasurable pain. Zion's generals rush to protect their failing leader, so Ellen orders her squad forward to play bodyguard for Tigre. In a total panic, Zion mounts a second dragon and tries to fast travel into the sky, trash-talking as he flies away. Suddenly, Tigre's black bow starts whispering to him like a sentient mod, telling him to snipe Zion for all his toxic behavior. Tigre remembers how Tigre got traumatized and finally locks in his aim. Ellen notices her sword is actually buffing Tigre's arrow with some high-tier wind energy at the tip. Tigre lets it fly, and the arrow snipes Zion and his dragon straight out of the sky, sending them crashing to the dirt, which makes the remaining rebel soldiers instantly lose all their morale. With their commander taking a massive L, Ellen officially declares victory thanks to Tigre's cracked archery. Next morning, Tigre is cooking breakfast and feeling herself now that Tigre is finally back, but when she goes to wake him up, she catches Ellen on top of Tigre with a sword shoved at his face like a certified psycho. At the table, Tigre is absolutely crashing out, demanding to know why Ellen was threatening her man's life, but Ellen just says she was trolling and only used the blade to wake him up, which Tigre rejects as total cap. Tigre plays the peacemaker and asks Ellen why she's logging in so early. Ellen reveals she's heading back to the capital and hits Tigre with the "What's your plan?" question, leaving him on read. Later, Ellen preps her travel with Lim, but before she leaves, Lim asks how she can trust this random archer boy so much. Ellen drops the honest truth, admitting she admires his strength and is actually down bad for him. Lim thinks Bro has negative aura, but Ellen promises she'll see the vision eventually. Meanwhile, Tigre tells Tigre he's visiting the next village, and she demands to join the party. Tigre tries to solo queue because he thinks she just wants a picnic date. But Tigre hits him with the puppy eyes RIZZ, and Tigre instantly folds. allowing her to join his lobby. While they're out, Duke Felix is yapping with his subordinate about why their allies rage-quit Alsace after seeing Tigre and Ellen pack up the dragons. They decide to send assassins to delete Tigre, and Felix plans to send another war maiden to gatekeep Ellen from helping him again. Transition to Ellen arriving at the main server hub, where she's summoned for a vibe check with King Victor. The king is malding that she recruited soldiers without his permission, but the whole court tweaks when she says she was just fulfilling Tigre's request. She claims Tigre is just trying to fix his broken server. But King Victor thinks Bro is just capping and wants to steal the throne, an accusation that has Ellen ready to crash out. The accusation triggers Ellen. But just then, a busty blonde baddie named Sophia steps up to support her, leaving King Victor speechless. Outside, Ellen gets confronted by Ludmilla, a Chibai war maiden who roasts her for using her assets to manipulate the king's logic. Ellen fires back, saying she won't take advice from someone with 0 plots on her chest, and the argument gets toxic fast until Sophia breaks it up. She dismisses Ludmilla and daps Ellen up for her service. Before leaving, Ludmilla admits she's shocked Ellen is simping for a nobody like Tigre. Later, Ellen and Sophia are chilling by a fountain when Sophia leaks the intel that Ludmilla is duel-queuing with Felix, which is a shocker since she usually hates his toxic vibes. Sophia explains Ludmilla's family has been hard-locked to Felix's guild since day one, so she's forced to play on his team regardless of her personal preference. Ellen is troubled by the law, wondering if she'll have to eventually fight her old mutual. Meanwhile, Tigre is dreaming of his childhood farm grind and sees his old man again. In the dream, his dad gives him a tutorial on being a lord and managing the fields, which finally jolts Bro awake. That memory jolts Tigre awake like he just got hit by Recap-Kun. He touches Tita's cheek while she's sleeping next to him like a certified Gooner. She wakes up and immediately pulls away in total embarrassment. Tigre notes the weather is perfect for some high-level hunting. Tita hugs him and swears to stay in his party forever. This buffs his resolve, and Bro finally locks in a plan to move forward without any lag. Returning home, they see a wagon and Tigre rushes inside to investigate the spawn. But Mashers is there and starts malding when he sees Lim, thinking Tigre has been doing some illegal side quests. After a quick lore dump, they all clear up the misunderstanding and drop an apology in the chat. Mashers asks about the endgame, and Tigre reveals he plans to raid Duke Felix without joining the rival Duke Maximilian's guild. Mashers tells him to reconsider the risk, but Tigre is dead set on protecting his people's save files. Mashers goes to snitch to the king, while Tigre travels across counties looking for more party members. He secures Hugh's support because Bro actually trusts Tigre's intentions. Days later, Tigre and Lim visit Ellen, where she explains she got the king's green light for the war. But she drops the bad news. King Victor demands Tigre's lands join Ellen's territory as a server fee. Tigre accepts the terms immediately because he's chill like that. But Ellen warns him that the king is a total troll. He's letting the war happen but won't give any rewards to the MVP because he wants the dukes to loot everything, which has Tigre beyond pissed. After Lim dips, Ellen tells Bro his main problem isn't the king, but the war maidens who stand in the middle like toxic third-party campers. She points out the flat melon Baddie, who thinks she's the honored one like Gojo. Suddenly, Ludmilla herself enters the lobby. Tigre tries to dap her up, but she leaves him hanging like a total hater. Ludmilla states plainly that she has come to confront Tigre as his enemy and wishes to speak with him privately. However, Alan and Lim follow them, and Ludmilla has no choice but to let them listen. Ludmilla warns that Felix's army has way higher stats than Tigre's and tells him to surrender before he gets clapped by her allies. Their conversation is abruptly interrupted when they detect a trap ahead, only to realize that they are already surrounded. Ellen knows Tigre is the VIP who needs to stay alive, because if he's assassinated, Felix wins the lobby. The assassins pull up and they pack up a few, but a venomous snake spawns and bites Lim in her juiciest section, Vine Boom. Ellen swiftly eliminates the assailant. Tigre decides to play doctor and starts sucking the venom out of Lim's wound. making every Gooner watching this absolutely seethe with jealousy. They are then surrounded by even more assassins. They're surrounded by even more mobs, but Ludmilla finally un-AFKs and uses her Ice Dragon art to delete the attackers. Once the coast is clear, she roasts Ellen for failing to play bodyguard for her own squad. Tigre tries to send a thank you DM, but she just ignores him and logs off. Later, Ellen and Tigre head to the city to find a healer to fix Lim's HP bar. Lim makes a full recovery and hits the hot springs with Ellen for some fan service. During their time together, Ellen recounts the recent incident in detail and praises Tigre for his gentlemanly behavior that day, while Lim is annoyed that he got to bite into her twin puppies. Ellen says she's prepped a reward for the hero. Meanwhile, Tigre wanders into the wrong bath and catches Ludmilla mid-soak. He catches her pepperonis in 4K and starts panic explaining himself. But Ludmilla reacts instantly with her blade, seizing her dragon art and pressing it to his neck. Tigre swears it was lag and tells her to put some clothes on, but she hits him with a physical smack anyway. Later, they hit the town for some food loot, and Ludmilla freezes when she smells the local specialty. There, Ellen openly challenges Ludmilla, asking if she is finally willing to stop acting like a spoiled brat and eat food from food stalls. Ellen roasts her for acting like a spoiled brat who won't eat street food. Ludmilla claims she'd rather self-delete than eat at a stall, but watching Ellen feast makes her fold instantly. Tigre offers her a bowl to fix his negative aura from the bath incident, as the baddie finally accepts the peace offering. And when Ludmilla accepts, she's surprised by how delicious it tastes. Ellen starts tweaking with jealousy, dragging Tigre away for acting like a total simp for another baddie. Ludmilla shuts that down fast, though, claiming she'd never fall for a dude who's basically Ellen's personal lapdog. Once she dips, Ellen's main character senses Tingle, predicting an attack on the border, so she orders Lim to gather the squad. A few hours later, they find out Ludmilla pulled a devious lick, teaming up with Duke Felix to trap them in a toxic lobby. With the army surrounded, Ellen puts the quest on pause and asks Tigre to either play diplomat with Ludmilla or go home to Luxmax's own defenses before the Dukes rush B. Tigre chooses to send an envoy to the Ice Baddie, which actually earns him some aura points in Ellen's book. This triggers a massive clash between the two factions, where both sides end up taking a massive L with heavy casualties after a day of sweating. In the battle tent, Lim asks why Ludmilla is camping in the back, and Tigre notes it's for the best, since her ice hacks could literally delete entire servers in seconds. When Lim asks about their win-loss ratio, Ellen caps, saying she's up 2-1 in their previous 1v1s. Lim just hits her with the press X to doubt, because Ludmilla told the exact opposite story. Tigre wonders where these cheat codes come from, and Ellen explains that dragon arts choose their masters, making Tigre worry his bow might be sentient. The next day, Ludmilla retreats to her castle, and Ellen knows attacking her on home turf is a suicide mission that even her ancestors fumbled. The armies clash again, but the bad weather and unfamiliar map results in a complete stalemate. That night, Ellen plans a reckless flank attack using her wind hacks to surprise the enemy from behind. Tigre realizes she's tweaking and tries to stop her before she gets herself banned. But Ellen hits him with that "I'm the admin" energy, leaving our boy on mute. Tigre admits he's down bad for her and doesn't want to see her HP hit 0. But knowing he can't stop the grind, he eventually just gives up and lets her cook. Ellen smiles at her favorite loyal NPC. But when Tigre says his kingdom comes before her ego, she assumes he's just talking about another woman. She promises to rethink her trash strat if he can come up with a better exploit. The next day, Tigre disguises himself in a bearskin to scout Ludmilla's base like a total creep. He spends days touching grass with 0 supplies, just watching the entrance. When a fox spawns, he snipes it from a mile away to replenish his hunger bar. But right as he's about to loot his catch, Ludmilla pull up also hunting, having no idea this bear is actually her enemy. Tigre flexes his W marksmanship to impress her while they chat. They end up in a cave sharing a fox meat dinner, which is a wild first date. She asks him to take off the furs, but bro stays in character, introducing himself as Urz, and she actually falls for the fake ID. During their conversation, Ludmilla prepares tea from her kit, and Tigre notices her genuine smile for the first time. She admits the snowy solitude lets her stop looks-maxing and finally release her buried emotions. Tigre plays the therapist role, and she trauma dumps about the stress of being a war maiden. Bro just listens and vibes, and once the storm clears, she heads back to base. Totally unaware, she just leaked the castle's entire security layout to a bear. Days later, Tigre returns to camp and speedruns the army straight to the castle, using the secret route. But Ludmilla isn't a total NPC. She predicted the devious lick and set up a bunch of traps. Archers start griefing them, so Tigre has to play bodyguard and push Ellen out of the line of fire. She starts flaming him for being reckless, warning him that Felix is closing in on his home, but Bro reminds her she'd be in the lobby right now if he didn't intervene. Realizing they're caught in 4K, Tigre decides it's time to use the broken gear. He asks Ellen's weapon for a buff, and the sword actually grants him admin rights. Tigre releases a charged shot that literally deletes the front gate from the game files. They storm the castle, triggering a fierce nighttime raid between two squads of war baddies. Moments later, Ellen confronts Ludmilla directly, making it clear to all present that a duel between war maidens is about to begin. She's there to settle the score and pay her back for the earlier mercy save. Ellen lunges, but the ice maiden dodges like she's got zero ping. The two then spam their dragon arts, which is basically an unhinged epilepsy warning for anyone watching. The clash is so toxic it literally breaks the floor, sending both of them falling into a massive pit. Ellen's minions try to jump in for the assist, but she orders them to stay back because she wants to secure this W solo. Suddenly, a random assassin tries to third-party the duel and go for Ludmilla. But Tigre snipes the bozo from the shadows, saving the ice baddie's life once again. That's when it clicks for her, Tigre is the same bear she shared tea with. She slaps him across the face for being a delusional hero and risking his life for an enemy. She roasts him for the Ur's fake identity, but Tigre says it was just a trade-off for the tea. She asks for his true intent, and he admits he just wants her to go neutral in this server war. He's got 0 gold to offer her for the treaty, but he begs her to stop supporting Felix so his homeland can finally have some peace. Hearing this, Ludmilla realizes Bro isn't a simp for Ellen, but for his own people. She slaps him one more time for being too honest, but since she finds him poggers, she tells her army to log off and stop supporting Felix. With that, the raid finally ends. Ellen can finally stop worrying about her backline and focus all her toxic energy on Felix. Meanwhile, the Duke is sweating, so he deploys Roland, a brutal knight who's basically a walking final boss, to gatekeep the border. A month passes, and Tigre has successfully farmed thousands of soldiers to back his cause. He daps up Duke Hughes for the military carry and promises to keep fighting for a peaceful server. Then the Silver Meteor squad moves into Felix's territory to set up a camp for the upcoming war. Ellen names the squad the Silver Meteor Stormtroops, but Lim roasts the name for being low-tier and childish. Before Tigre can give his input, a random conflict breaks out among the soldiers, classic toxic lobby behavior. While Tigre deals with that, Lim realizes Mashers is still MIA in the capital. She's worried he got banned or that the king hasn't seen the petition. Outside, Tigre snipes a warning shot between the fighting soldiers to make them touch grass and stand down, forcing them to stand down. Next day, Tigre and Hughes go talk to some village NPCs to request some items for the war. Hughes dips but tells Tigre to take a break and check out the local town's attractions. Tigre offers to accompany him, but Hughes insists that Tigre stay behind and enjoy the town, recommending several places worth visiting, including a Johnny Sins museum. Tigre just wants to chill by the river and imagine a life where he isn't constantly getting shot at. Briefly imagining a peaceful and simple life. His vibe is ruined when Ellen's pet dragon jumps him. Then the blonde baddie Sophia pulls up but trips and falls right on top of him. Ellen pulls up exactly at that moment, hitting Tigre with a death stare that drains his entire health bar. After the mandatory fan service, Sophia introduces herself to the hero Tigre. She shyly admits it's her first time being held by a gentleman, which is peak embarrassment for Bro. Startling herself and embarrassing Tigre. Lim asks about the capital lobby, and Sophia says the king is suffering from a massive illness debuff and things are looking mid. She couldn't get a direct meeting, but she clarified their stance with the other admins. Sophia warns Tigre that his land is either gonna become a solo personal domain or get labeled as a traitorous server, depending on the war. Bro is sweating, wanting the details, but she says a messenger will spawn soon to clarify the situation. She also reveals Mashas is still active, but dealing with some toxic drama of his own. That night, the girls discuss the remaining war maidens. Ellen is worried more baddies will ally with Felix, and is stressing about Tigre being branded as a traitor by the normie population. Next day, Bertrand snitches that the final boss Roland is closing in on their base. Tigre reveals that he knows Roland personally, surprising Ellen. Understanding the urgency, Tigre sends a messenger to Roland, but days later the messenger returns. Having been turned away, as it turns out that Roland seeks battle, forcing Tigre to prepare for war. The two armies collide, and Roland starts dog-walking Tigre's forces with zero effort. Ellen rushes him, but she's shocked when he actually blocks her hit, a feat no other player has achieved. He wipes out a whole unit before yeeting her off her horse like she was a mid-tier mob. At that moment, Tigre intervenes and Roland attacks him. Bro fires an arrow into the sky, seemingly missing his shot like a total noob. Then he scoops up Ellen and starts the full retreat. Roland pursues them relentlessly until the arrow Tigre fired earlier falls and strikes Roland's horse, stopping the chase. They think they made it out, but then they realize a massive squad of Roland's soldiers is already closing in to trap them. Is it game over? Ellen understands that they are cornered, but just in time, Sophia appears, sends them away to safety, and turns to face Roland's army alone. She starts her carry by casting a massive magical firewall, forcing Roland and his toxic lobby to hit the brakes. Roland actually glazes the spell for a second, instantly identifying Sophia's big brain delay tactic. Without even breaking a sweat, he uses his broken attack power to cleave through the shield, and starts spamming a relentless assault on the baddie. Sophia frame dodges every single strike like a pro, and once she has enough space, she pulls a devious lick and teleports out, leaving Roland malding in the middle of nowhere. Moments later, Roland catches a report of an ambush, so he quits the pursuit and orders a full retreat to reposition his NPC forces. While he waits for his squad to regroup, he starts tweaking over his mission, swearing he'll obtain whatever loot he desires regardless of the server cost. After the scrap, the Silver Meteor Guild regroups to heal Tigre, whose health bar is currently blinking in the red. Once Bro is finally stabilized, Mashas leaves the bedside to trauma dump the latest lore on the rest of the team. Hughes demands to know how the audience with the Boomer King went. Mashas reveals that Felix and Ganelon have basically hijacked the palace admin rights, and the Prime Minister had to sneak him into the King's chambers through a secret backdoor exploit. There, Mashas saw firsthand that the King's mental health stats are completely zeroed out after his son's game over. He explains that Felix and Ganelon fabricated conversing receipts to label Tigre a traitor, making his quest for peace look like a total grief on the Brune Empire. After hearing the tea, Hughes and Ellen ask how he linked up with Sophia, and he explains he got caught lacking by assassins, but the blonde baddie just happened to be passing by and helped him clear the mobs. Following the lore dump, Ellen goes to check on Tigre, noticing a crowd of soldiers camping outside the room because they're all simping for their favorite lord. She orders Tita to leave so she can have some private 1v1 time with Bro, and Tita is visibly tilted because she's clearly catching feelings for Tigre too. But she finally logs off and lets Ellen in. Inside, Ellen grabs Tigre's hand and presses it against her plot armor, wanting him to feel her heartbeat so he stays anchored to the server. She drops a low-key romantic promise, basically declaring that Tigre is her property and nobody is stealing her favorite archer. Later, Ellen retreats to the hills to touch grass. While she's reflecting, Sophia spawns in to yap about Ellen's wind-based dragon hacks and how it affects the meta. Sophia asks what it's like to use those skills on a human, specifically Tigre, which instantly triggers Ellen's jealousy debuff. Ellen hits her with that negative aura, reminding Sophia that Tigre is hers and hers alone, no shared loot here. Meanwhile, Roland is meeting with his duo partner Olivia to discuss how their situation is getting way too sweaty. Roland doesn't care about the mounting LS, though. He's a total tryhard driven by pure obsession to complete the mission. The next morning, while the Silver Meteor squad is pushing the payload, Tigre finally un-AFKs from his coma and realizes his durability stats are at a permanent low. Suddenly, his bow starts vibrating like a notification, urging him to follow a hidden quest marker. Tigre and Tita step out to investigate, and even with a fractured HP bar, Bro refuses to fold because Tita's RIZZ and his bond with the bow are keeping him going. As Bro falters, the bow reveals a hidden temple that wasn't even on the map. They walk in and face a massive statue of Tur Nafar, the server's local goddess of night and permanent game overs. Tigre presses the statue, demanding the admin reveal herself since she's clearly the one who summoned him for this side quest. Tita suddenly gets possessed by the spirit and Tur Nafar manifests, knowing exactly that Tigre is looking for some broken cheat codes. The archer stays stoic while the goddess offers him the power to stop being an NPC. But there's a catch. He has to prove his resolve by shooting Tita, which has Bro hesitating like a total simp. The goddess roasts him for being down bad for the girl, but Tigre refuses to be called a mid-tier player and prepares to fire, vowing internally that he's going to hitbox manipulate the shot so he doesn't actually delete her. Ignoring the goddess's trash talk, he lets it rip, and Tita survives with only her clothes getting griefed by the fire. Tigre plays bodyguard as the goddess honors the deal and grants him some high-tier admin buffs. Then Bro mounts his horse and fast travels toward the final boss arena, where Ellen's strategy of turning the terrain into literal mud is keeping Roland's army from speedrunning the city. While the rest of the lobby is busy with the mobs, Ellen and Sophia link up to drop a duel ultimate on Roland. Roland casually cleaves through their attacks, roasts their DPS, and declares their whole run is officially doomed. As Roland moves for the kill, he senses a projectile approaching and slices a random arrow in half. Roland and the two baddies are stunned when they see Tigre has finally joined the server. Roland hits the pause button, wanting to chat before the final phase. He questions why Bro is acting like a main character, and Tigre drops a logic bomb, saying he's just out here protecting his people's save files. Roland pulls out his heavy blade with both hands, giving off enough negative aura to make Ellen shiver. Tigre raises his bow, and Ellen sees his fresh wounds, begging him to just take the shot already. Determined not to take an L because of her lag, Roland charges in, convinced Bro's arrows won't even scratch his hitbox. He believes the holy sword, Dev Gift, will protect him from everything. The arrow lands, and Roland has to sweat hard just to force the damage down. The impact triggers a massive earthquake that yeets everyone to the dirt, but Ellen is shocked to see Roland still standing like a raid boss. However, as he attempts to lift his sword once more, his strength fails him. But as he tries to lift his blade, his stamina bar hits 0, and he finally admits he caught a massive L. Securing the W, the Silver Meteor army begins their victory march toward the next hub. Meanwhile, Tigre passes out from the grind, resting in Ellen's arms as she plays the ultimate healer role. The next day, the lobby resets, and they bury the fallen soldiers on the hill. Both sides agree the Silver Meteor Guild won fairly, and they even secured a small bit of currency. A soldier tries to recruit Olivia for the march, but he declines, saying they have to go back and camp the western borders since they're currently unprotected. Meanwhile, Tigre and the crew meet Roland, who promises to set up a lobby between Tigre and the Majesty. Tigre says no thanks, knowing Roland might get banned for what he almost did to Mashas. But Roland is determined to atone for his toxic gameplay, regardless of the consequences. After the meeting, Ellen drops a bombshell. She has to fast travel back to her territory because her mutual Sasha is in trouble. She recalls their bestie vow to always assist each other when things get sweaty. Sasha is suffering from a massive illness debuff and can't even move her character, so Ellen has to go carry her. Tigre respects the grind and promises to continue his solo campaign. Ellen departs for her server, but Tigre notices Rurik stayed behind and asks why he didn't log off with the others. Rurik says the winter maps back home are total brainrot and he'd rather stay here until Ellen respawns. Tigre hits the camp, where Mashas delivers grim news that Roland is dead. Turns out Maximilian trapped him in a palace lobby and unleashed a swarm of toxic killer bees on him. News of Roland's ban spreads, and Felix starts crashing out on Maximilian for deleting such a high-level asset without a team vote. Wondering who's gonna gatekeep the western border now, while Maximilian just shrugs and says, skill issue, admitting that Roland at least died looking like a gigachad. Days later, the Muisel army launches a server invasion, exploiting the fact that the borders are unguarded. The invaders are being absolute menaces, specifically griefing the regions known for the illegal slave trading meta. The local forces try to cook up a plan to lure the Muisel tryhards away from the city before striking. Meanwhile, Felix is just spectating, wondering what Tigre's next move is gonna be. Meanwhile, Tigre struggles to formulate a response as news of the Muisel advance reaches him. He wants to buff his defenses, but then he sees Roland's Durandal sword, a legendary item that proves the raid boss finally respected Tigre's W cause. Tita interrupts his brooding with some breakfast loot. After eating, Tigre tells Tita to go camp with Bertrand for a while, explaining that he's heading into a high-level danger zone and doesn't want her character model to get touched. He calls a guild meeting, and Rurik asks if a victory is even possible with their mid-tier stats. Tigre admits the RNG is trash and the odds are mid. He decides to head south with a volunteer raid team, stating his only goal is survival and protecting the low-level civilian NPCs. Hughes says they should just camp their current base. But Tigre says ratio, knowing they are branded traders and will receive no reinforcements. He just asks for one favor and for everyone to trust his macro management. Later, Tigre marches south with his squad, determined to save the NPCs and prevent the server from crashing. They run into a group of Muisel soldiers escorting enslaved players, and Tigre considers using his goddess hacks. But he decides to stay stealthy, judging the risk as a total L. While circling back, they spot some invaders chasing a young girl. She fumbles her movement and falls, but Tigre and his men pull a pro-gamer move and snipe the pursuers from the bushes. Tigre walks up all chill, dropping his intro. But the girl is so overwhelmed by Bro's aura that she literally faints on the spot. That night, Tigre hosts a war council. He realizes their supply inventory is almost empty, meaning they can't handle a long-term siege or they'll all disconnect from hunger. Next day, the Muisel general thinks he's identified an attack on his left flank. He knows it's a bait but orders thousands of soldiers to engagement anyway, thinking he's over-leveled. Exactly as predicted, the invaders fall into the trap where Tigre's main guild drops a massive strike. Tigre wins the first round easily, but he stays cautious of the inevitable reinforcements. Over the next few days, he slowly whittles down their numbers with small griefing sessions. Eventually, the Muisels resort to using hostages to provoke Tigre's army into revealing their positions. When no response comes, the hostages are executed. Forced out of hiding, Tigre daps up the Muisel general, who literally laughs at Bro for pulling up with only a few hundred low-level NPCs. The general roasts him for leading with a bow, claiming archers have zero aura, and everyone in Brune thinks they're mid. Tigre takes the trash talk personally, warning this boomer to prepare for a massive L. The general stays cocky, thinking his numbers mean he's already secured the W. But Bro is catching lacking because Tigre already preloaded another ambush. As the general tries to rush B, Tigre releases a snipe from his hacked bow, sending an arrow straight through the man's cranium. Get no-scoped, kid. With their leader catching a permanent ban, the army starts tweaking and retreats, giving Tigre time to free the slaves. But one ungrateful NPC starts malding, blaming Tigre for the lag and saying he pulls up too late to save the previous casualties. Instead of flaming him back, Tigre stays humble, dropping a real-one apology to the group. Later, a young girl pulls up to glaze him for avenging her father's game over. She realizes Bro isn't a god and couldn't save everyone, but she offers RIZZ and comfort instead of being toxic. That night, Tigre checks the stats on the rescued captives and sees his remaining troop count is looking pretty mid. Suddenly, Rurik spawns in with the sweaty news that a Muisel advance force is closing in on their IP. We're talking 30,000 tryhards marching their way, leaving Tigre absolutely stunned because his squad is about to get outratioed. The next day, Tigre and the boys keep pushing, fully knowing they're walking into a total slaughterhouse. Accepting the L, Tigre acts as a decoy to bait the army away, while Rurik escorts the civilians to a safe zone. Bro's squad snipes hundreds of enemies, but the Muisels are relentless gooners and keep chasing them across the map. Suddenly, Tigre spots another army on the horizon and assumes he's about to get third-partied. But wait, those are the banners of Ludmilla's Ice Baddie army pull-in, up for the assist. Years ago, Ellen and Ludmilla were having a sweaty 1v1 spar when the high-tier war maiden Sasha spawned in to stop the griefing. Both girls felt that instinctive negative aura because Sasha is literally a server admin in their eyes. Sasha challenges them to a 2v1, declaring she won't tolerate toxic behavior in her lobby. Ellen and Ludmilla try to party up, but Sasha effortlessly dogwalks both of them. She forced them to say "my bad" to each other, which they did while mouthing internally. Back in the present, Ellen and Lim hit Sasha's base, and after entering the VIP lounge, Ellen demands to know which bozo is attacking her territory. Sasha drops the name, Elizabetha, the Flash Princess, and Ellen is totally shook by the revelation. Sasha trauma dumps about her rivalry with the new baddie and how their beef has been escalating since day one. She hoped her dragon art would expose Elizabetha as a fraud, but the baddie's stats were actually legit. Too weak to 1v1 right now, Sasha begs Ellen for a carry. Without blinking, Ellen promises to smoke Elizabetha and make her whole squad kneel before Sasha. Then Sasha asks about Ellen's journey and how she bagged a cutie like Tigre. Ellen spills all the tea, basically hoping Sasha can meet the hero and his RIZZ someday. Meanwhile, Tigre is still active thanks to Ludmilla's clutch save, and they have a private meeting to discuss the payment for her helping him not get packed up. Ludmilla keeps trolling and testing his vibes to see if he's a real one. But Tigre keeps it 100 with his answers, passing the vibe check and keeping the alliance alive. Ludmilla grills him about a massive hole in the wall that could only be caused by an admin hack. Tigre stays silent until she reminds him he's her teammate now and needs to follow the group leader's orders. So Tigre finally leaks his build, revealing the black bow. The baddie thinks the gear looks epic and demands more lore on the item. So she asks for more details. Tigre explains it's a family heirloom with built-in dragon art hacks. The damage is broken, but the mana drain is so toxic it usually forces him into an AFK coma after one shot. Ludmilla realizes this bow can 360 no-scope enemy leaders to end wars instantly, but it's trash for prolonged sweaty matches. This is why Tigre needed a carry, and she officially agrees to the DuoQ alliance. Later, Gerard confronts Tigre, accusing him of using illegal RIZZ on all these war baddies and demanding the tutorial. Tigre just says he's been practicing the Tongue Twister 3000, which is absolute brainrot, but Gerard is impressed. Before logging off for the day, Gerard begs him to help a girl he rescued, whose weird behavior is making the camp lobby uncomfortable. He brings her food loot and tries to have a meal with her, but she thinks he's trying to poison her HP bar. She demands Tigre's meal instead, and Bro just hands it over like a total sub. She reveals her name is Regin, and she already knew his gamer tag before they met. As he tries to leave, she suddenly grabs him and asks for a huge favor. Next morning, Elizabetha is touching grass near Sasha's border, preparing to rush the palace. Her scouts report a massive defensive lobby is already waiting for her. The Flash Princess is hyped, knowing Ellen is out here trying to protect her mutual Sasha. While Ellen and her soldiers prepare for battle, Lim feels conflicted after hearing Sasha's final words before the confrontation. Sasha believes that something or someone will obstruct Ellen's path and entrust her protection to Lim. Knowing her own dragon art will not be enough, then the Battle of Borosolo begins without truce as both armies charge. Lim tells Ellen to watch her positioning, honoring Sasha's wishes. Ellen and Elizabetha jump straight into a 1v1. Their duel is basically a reflection of the toxic mess happening between their soldiers. Both baddies charge their ultimates and unleash them at the same time, turning the map into a massive dust cloud. When the render distance clears, they're both still alive, but Elizabetha got pushed back, proof that Ellen's stats are just slightly higher. Refusing to take the L, Elizabetha proposes a truce, claiming she's got some high-level tea to spill. She leaks that the Muisel army is about to raid Brune, and admits she was only stalling Ellen to keep her away from the main quest. Elizabetha offers to halt the war and grant Ellen Tan to aid Brown, with the understanding that no victor is declared and her dispute with Sasha will be resolved the following year. Ellen says bet, as long as Elizabetha drops a formal apology to Sasha for being such a hater. So the battle ends with a binding contract, granting Sasha a year of peace. Ellen and her army immediately depart to reunite with Tigre. Somewhere else on the map, Ludmilla is cooking up a strategy for the next lobby. She admits their supplies are low, but thinks the plan works because Tigre previously executed a delete the commander strat that left the enemy team in shambles. But she warns this next boss is no ordinary NPC, it's Balamir, the brother of the Muisel king. Tigre listens as she drops the lore. Balamir is famous for winning sweaty 1v9 clutches with 0 health left. Then Ludmilla and Tigre finalize a plan to defeat him. As they finalize the raid plan, Tigre starts tweaking, wondering why Ludmilla is doing so much for him. She sees through his soft boy act and reminds him this battle is his personal main quest, stating that if they win, he's gonna owe her some major favors. Next day, Balamir gets a DM directly from the Ice Baddie, telling him to log off or get burned like crispy bacon textures. Balamir thinks she's challenging his masculinity and chooses to keep the server toxic. Snow starts falling as Tigre and Ludmilla move their troops, officially starting the Ormia campaign server event. The next morning, Balamir and his Muisel tryhards successfully encircle Ludmilla's team. And Balamir receives reports that 4 noble families are advancing against him, yet he remains confident that his thousands of soldiers can easily overwhelm them, as he intends to capture the slaves and use them as hostages to secure victory. But surprise, Tigre and Ludmilla combine their party and launch a direct assault on Balamir's main hub, where Balamir himself commands. The invaders try to chase the slaves, but the hostages are actually high-level soldiers in disguise, talk about a devious trick, while the real captives are hiding on the high ground, defending their base against the overconfident Muisels. Before the battle begins, the slaves harbor deep resentment toward Tigre for ordering them to fight, and none initially agree to follow him. However, their outlook changes when one man speaks up, arguing that with proper leadership and direction, they can seize both freedom and victory. Inspired by these words, the slaves commit themselves to the fight. Under our duo's leadership, they reach safety after deleting 2 whole enemy formations. But Balamir is still in the lobby, and he's the target Tigre needs to pack up to end the match. As Tigre and Ludmilla pursue him, they recognize that their troops are exhausted and gradually losing the strength to continue fighting. Suddenly, Muislin's forces surround them. As Balamir has anticipated this moment, knowing that even with Ludmilla's skill, his numerical advantage remains decisive. He bait retreats from Ludmilla, letting his own soldiers get slaughtered just to exhaust her. The toxic tactic works, and Balamir is already celebrating his impending triumph. Tigre and Ludmilla are cornered and losing troops fast, but neither of them is ready to hit the surrender button. They're fueled by pure plot armor and childhood promises, continuing to sweat for the victory. Right when they're about to get packed up, another army from a different guild storm the map. The leader shouts for Tigre, and Ludmilla signals their IP address. The 3 commanders explain that Mashers has ordered them to aid Tigre, a revelation that catches him off guard. Tigre recognizes his old mutual August, who says Roland's final will and testament message told him to back Tigre's cause. Following the admin's orders, August joins the party to finish this raid once and for all. Moved by the loyalty and unity of his allies, Tigre locks in to keep the streak going when Ludmilla reminds him the server hasn't been cleared yet. Meanwhile, Balamir gets the sweaty report that Tigre and Ludmilla just gained additional reinforcements. While his officers are tweaking, Balamir stays composed, still delusional about conquering southern Brune. Another update pulls up, revealing yet another noble guild has joined the raid with thousands of troops. Realizing he's taking a massive L, Balamir finally accepts that retreat is his only survival strat. The lobby finally goes quiet. But the cost is devastating, as thousands of players lose their accounts in a single day. Balamir camps at the port, waiting for news from the final front to see if his campaign is officially cooked. Soon, a messenger snitches that his forces got absolutely dog-walked at the port by Duke Thanadir. Hearing this, Balamir breaks into hysterical laughter, overwhelmed by the weight of his failed ambitions and his empty inventory. Choosing survival over pride, he orders a full server withdrawal. Knowing this decision will make Tigre's haters crash out, even though his advisors are in total shock. Balamir ignores their malding, already composing a glaze post for Tigre's leadership. He later sends a DM to Tigre's camp, praising his tactical brilliance while admitting the fear of defeat drove his retreat. That night, Tigre hits the hay, uncertain if this messy war can even be called a W. Ludmilla reassures him of the victory, though Tigre falls asleep mid-convo like a total NPC. Seeing his zero stamina, Ludmilla quietly decides to share his bed, major fan service incoming. Later, Gerard pulls up to Yap, but instantly retreats upon catching Ludmilla sleeping beside him in 4K. The next morning, Ludmilla un-AFKs to the sound of footsteps near the tent. Recognizing the aura, she waits and sees Ellen approaching, desperately looking for her archer boy. Ellen glitches when she sees Tigre sleeping with Ludmilla, and the ice baddie starts playfully teasing her, which only makes Ellen's jealousy meter hit a new high score. Later, Tita distributes food throughout the camp as the newly freed slaves celebrate their victory. Bertrand encourages Tita to rest and visit Tigre, but she reveals that she has already seen him and is deeply impressed by the man he has become, now commanding loyal followers who respect him completely. Bertrand tells Tita to rest, but she reveals she's already seen Tigre and is impressed by the aura he radiates now. Elsewhere, Tigre is talking to the boys when Ludmilla starts teasing him again about a tea date. Ellen's jealousy is peaking, so she tries to drag Tigre away, but Ludmilla grabs his other hand, refusing to let the baddie battle end. A soldier interrupts to yap about supply chain issues, making Ludmilla irritated that her RIZZ session got blocked. But Tigre promises a visit soon and she smirks, knowing he's loyal to Ellen like an obsessed ex. At midnight, Tigre and Ellen spend quiet time together outside, sharing wine and cheese beneath the night sky. They speak about their lives apart, and Tigre lowers his head, apologizing for the many soldiers who have died under his command. But Alan lifts his chin, telling him to lie beside her as she tightly holds his hand. Tigre confesses that he does not regret the battle, despite its cost. And Ellen finds comfort in his resolve and urges him to pray to the gods for the fallen, drawing them even closer together. Some days later, a war maiden named Valentina opens a portal and clips into Tigre's room just for a vibe check. Tigre turns around and reflexively grabs her assets, nearly making her moan in 4K, yet she stays cold. Without reporting him, she just opens another portal and dips, clearly looking forward to the next accidental encounter. Days after the campaign, Tigre and the squad reach Fort Perche, getting a premium welcome and a place to rest. Meanwhile, on the roof, Ellen and Ludmilla are beefing again, with Ellen telling the ice baddie to stay away from her man, asserting that his slim gym is her exclusive property. Ludmilla hits her with the ratio, saying her king ordered her to watch Ellen, and claiming that Tigre still owes her some massive debts for the carry. Later, Tigre meets the boys to discuss a missing prince, but Bro is clueless about which royal just logged off. Suddenly, Bertrand enters and says a girl named Regine is demanding a meeting. She walks in and Bertrand freezes like his game crashed, looking like he saw a ghost. Tigre lets her speak, and she reveals her true form. She's actually the missing Prince of Brune. She proves her lineage by leaking a memory of a hunting festival where they both tried to flee together. She recalls her first taste of hot food, and while Tigre is confused by this ladyboy skin, Mashaz literally faints from the shock. When he wakes up, he sees the war maidens are already part of Regin's party. Tigre tells the old man to trust Ellen because Bro is fully simping for her judgment. Regin then explains her life in detail, revealing that she has lived in disguise, playing the role of a prince because she could not reveal herself as female. Revealing the truth would have led to an immediate execution from the admins. The squad wonders what to do, since this leak could literally crash the whole kingdom's economy and trust. Ellen warns that going public will invite every enemy on the map to rush their base. Tigre agrees and says they need to involve the king. Regin asks about her dad, but Mashaz reveals the king has lost his sanity. He's basically a glitched NPC now. Regin says she trusts Tigre because he has zero ulterior motives and passed her vibe check. Which reminds Tigre of the time he had to bathe her before battle, Vine Boom. Though embarrassed, Tigre continues questioning her about her father, and Regin points them toward Lutetia, specifically its capital, Artesium. Regin points them toward the capital, Artesium, revealing a secret passage exploit known only to the royal family. Elsewhere, Maximilian is drinking wine and contemplating how Felix's monsters are overleveled, and how Tigre's bow is a threat even to raid bosses like Roland. Always playing 4D chess, Maximilian plans a massive battlefield event in Artesium to trap both factions. Days later, Felix finds out Regin is still active and duo queuing with Tigre, making him seethe with toxic rage. Sophia is ordered by the Majesty to demand a withdrawal, but she knows the admins are just trolling. She runs into her bestie Valentina, but the girl's vibe is super sus. They greet each other, but Valentina's sister makes Sophia suspicious. Meanwhile, Tigre hears Felix has griefed Artesium and defeated Maximilian's forces already. Realizing war is the only endgame, Tigre prepares to rush the capital regardless of the odds. The next day, the armies clash, and our girls work together to delete the first 3 dragons on the field. Ludmilla tries to solo a 2-headed dragon, but its defense stats are too high for her ice hacks. The beast retaliates, and Ellen tanks the hit to save her, catching some major fire damage in the process. Ludmilla immediately uses her freezer powers to heal the burns and stop the DPS. Felix is getting hyped seeing his dragons holding back the war maidens, ordering his troops to prepare for the cleanup. After hours of sweating, both sides withdraw to manage their cooldowns. The girls realize they need a special combo technique to pierce the dragon's scales. They return to the field, but this time Tigre's soldiers are marching without gear, looking like absolute level 1 noobs. Felix's generals question the move, but Felix realizes it is meant to draw his troops forward while leaving the dragons exposed. Confident of victory, he orders the attack anyway. As planned, Tigre's soldiers retreat and quickly re-equip, while Ellen and Ludmilla focus entirely on the dragons, where they manage to damage one. The remaining creature injures Ellen before turning on Ludmilla, but Ludmilla blocks its attack and knocks it back, buying Ellen time to recover. Once Ellen is back in the game, the 2 war maidens drop a coordinated assault that's straight up overkill. The duo pulls a coordinated ultimate. Ludmilla distracts the beast so Ellen can strike from above and delete it from the server. As the sun sets, the girls finish their raid, trusting Tigre to wrap up the rest of the match. With Felix retreating, the girls hit a nearby hot spring for some much-needed recovery and more fan service for the chat. Ellen notes that Lim has been farming some weight in all the right places. The whole squad agrees, and the wholesome vibes momentarily distract them from the fact they're in a literal war zone. Later, the squad strolls through the camp, turning heads like main characters as they head for Tigre's tent. They find our MC in a deep sleep, and Ellen immediately starts plotting a spicy prank to wake him up. Tita tries to warn her though, reminding her that Tigre has those op instincts and can sense danger even when he's dreaming. But instead of backing off, this just makes Ellen even more hyped to test him out. She creeps up real close to catch him off guard. Instantly, Tigre un-AFKs and slams Ellen to the ground, pinning her down before realizing it's his teammate. Ellen is momentarily stunned by his cracked reflexes and Bro's dominance aura. After breakfast, Tigre announces the squad is heading straight for Artesium to end this match. Tigre locks in the next destination, and announces they're heading straight for Artesium. Ludmilla worries his habit of saving every NPC will drain their supplies, but Tigre clarifies he's not just playing hero, he's looking for answers. Regin explains that the secret tunnels lead straight to the city's spawn point, the birthplace of the Empire. Confirming these paths lead straight to the heart of the city, the literal birthplace of Brown. She's never been there, but her lore knowledge is high level enough to trust. Tigre and Regin decide to hit the temple entrance solo, while the rest of the guild sets up camp for the final siege. Bertrand demands to join the party, not letting his young lord go on a stealth mission alone. He swears to follow Tigre to the ends of the earth as his leader, and while Tigre accepts, he tells Bertrand to hit the bricks the second things get too sweaty. Once the old man dips, Ellen points out that Tigre's current squad is just a princess and a boomer. So she declares her intention to join the raid, dead set on playing bodyguard for her favorite archer. Ludmilla and Lim try to hit her with the logic check, but Ellen refuses to log off. Aware that she's down bad, Tigre lets her join the lobby as long as Regin's health bar stays at 100%. The next day, the squad arrives at the Temple of Mazia for the main quest. Inside, Regin takes admin control, triggering the hidden mechanism that reveals the secret underground passage. The escape tunnel leads them into a dark dungeon where they find a mural depicting a bow-wielding, Gigachad 1v1ing a dragon. Regin confirms they're nearing the final objective, the Holy Grotto. Suddenly, Tigre and Ellen sense a negative aura in the shadows and duck behind cover to avoid getting caught lacking. Their fears are confirmed when the final boss Felix emerges with a swarm of guards. Felix glitches out seeing Regin alive, which makes her realize this villain has been reading the kingdom's dev logs this whole time. Felix skips the dialogue and declares it's a permanent game over for the squad. He orders his men to rush, and Tigre and Ellen engage in a sweaty high-intensity brawl. Bertrand plays escort for Regin, while Ellen tells Rurik to provide backline cover. Rurik joins the scrap, but then Steed spawns from the dark, swearing to delete Regin's account right now. Warwick refuses to let him grief her and starts the fade. Tigre fires a snipe at Steed, but the guy catches it effortlessly, glazing Tigre's growth as a marksman. Elsewhere, Ellen 1v1s Felix, and the villain explains he chose this underground map to prevent any rage quitting or escapes. The duel is perfectly balanced until the entire server room begins to shake. The map is literally collapsing. Felix orders a full retreat, while Ellen's squad books it to the exit, leaving Tigre stranded with Steed, who's still trying to pack him up. Remembering her promise, Ellen hesitates to leave her Pookie behind. She looks back just in time to see Tigre out of ammo and cornered by the tryhard Steed. A massive boulder griefs the entire scene, and Ellen screams Tigre's name, thinking his save file is deleted. Sometime later, Tigre un-AFKs in the rubble and finds Steed crushed by a rock, giving a moment of silence for the fallen hater. Realizing he didn't take any damage, Tigre remembers Bertrand pulled a heroic sacrifice play to save him. He loots the area and finds Bertrand trapped with 0 HP left. The old man is bleeding out and can't even stand. Blood seeps from Bertrand's back and he can no longer stand. Tigre thanks him for the carry, but Bertrand is busy gathering enough mana for his final speech. Tigre mentions Alsace, and Bertrand goes on a nostalgia trip about the kingdom's peak years. He glazes Tigre one last time, praising his vision and declaring Bro is the ultimate lord of the server. He promises Tigre that Alsace's future is looking W in his hands. With his final frame, he begs Tigre to look after Tita, then disconnects for good. Meanwhile, the rest of the guild makes it to Artesium without any lag. Ellen senses a disturbance in the force, but keeps hoping for the best. Suddenly, a massive dark beam erupts from the map. Ellen recognizes the VFX and sprints toward the source. She finds Tigre alive, having escaped the toxic tunnel with Bertrand's body. Tigre is currently unconscious, but his health bar is still ticking. Ellen checks Bertrand and realizes he's officially left the game. The squad gathers for a somber meeting, mouthing over the loss of their favorite high-level attendant. They reflect on how he hard-carried Tigre until he was ready to solo the role of a lord. Gerard tries to move on, questioning if Tigre is still fit to lead the guild after catching such a massive emotional. In his tent, Tigre is deep in his thoughts, processing Bertrand's final words and realizing his own potential is actually broken. Tita stays glued to his side, doing her best to provide those emotional support buffs. Suddenly, Ellen barged in and demands to know Tigre's endgame for this server war. Tigre tries to postpone the cutscene, but Ellen isn't having it, knowing Bro is cooking up a devious plan. She reminds him he can still rage quit the war, and if he does, Felix will likely settle for a toxic negotiation, giving Tigre a chance to save his people without any more permanent bans. Ellen adds that she doesn't care about the results, she just wants the chance to fight with that gigachad pride. She trauma dumps about her past as a homeless mercenary, a ruthless sweat who just hopped from one toxic lobby to the next. That thirst for combat is what made her a war baddie, and Tigre is feeling every word of her origin story. Remembering his own honor, he turns to Tita, who's currently tweaking with anxiety. He pulls her in for a hug, promising to speedrun this war and return to Alsace for the good ending. Vowing to hold a proper funeral for Bertrand and finally touch some grass. Later, Tigre and Ellen are having a moonlit 1v1 talk. Tigre admits he was worried about letting Bertrand down, but realizes the old man died believing in the W. Ellen reveals her real reason for staying in the party. She's here for the long-term meta. She explains the Muisel army is logic-driven and always attacks with a purpose. Tigre realizes they want the southern port town to unlock a new trade era and flip the global server balance. Ellen's vision is to link ZHC to the port and fix the toxic relationship with Brune for a server-wide era of peace. Tigre accepts her big brain vision and heads out to meet Ludmilla and the boys, who were all sweating wondering if Bro had logged off for good. A few days later, Pierre pulls up to meet Tigre and Region, ready to talk terms. Days later, Pierre pull up to Tigre's camp to negotiate a truce, keeping it informal because he respected Tigre's old man. Tigre lays it out. Priority 1 is deleting Felix and protecting Alsace's save files. And after the W, he plans to return as Ellen's prisoner, which has both her and Ludmilla malding because they won't let anyone take their man. Tigre even suggests Alsace join ZHC territory, since Brune is too toxic to ever accept them back. Pierre is speechless but insists Tigre escort Regine back to the castle hub immediately, as the king's health is hitting 0. Tigre locks in without hesitation. Even though he knows Felix's tryhard forces are camping the whole route, the final mission is a go. But first, Tigre has to 1v1 Felix one last time on the Merville map. Regine is feeling the imposter syndrome debuff as the new supreme commander. But Mashaz glazes her, saying she's the only one fit to run the server after the king logs out. Tigre's guild starts dog-walking Felix's soldiers, and Tigre steps up to confront the final boss himself. Felix wants revenge for his son, but Tigre is out for blood for his grieving people. Tigre draws his legendary bow. Bro is feeling that pure toxic rage surge into the weapon, looking like he's ready to freeze the entire server over. But Ellen pulls a pro-gamer move and slaps Tigre across the face to stop him from crashing out. She warns him that fighting with pure hatred is a low-tier strat. Suddenly, he hears his dad's voice in his head and hits the lobby with a smile. He ditches his inventory and faces Felix with just a single arrow. Felix thinks he's trolling and laughs. As the villain rushes in, Tigre sends a prayer to the wind god for some game-breaking guidance. He un-AFKs just as Felix's sword is about to execute him. Tigre lets the arrow fly and the plot armor kicks in hard. The snipe is a critical hit, guided by some straight-up divine hacks. Felix collapses, completely baffled that an arrow and some wind just ended his whole career. He logs off with one final word, Brune. The entire battlefield is on mute. Ellen is confused because that wasn't even her own power that buffed the shot. A mysterious admin intervened, finally giving Tigre that server-wide legitimacy. Days later, the victory ceremony starts, but Maximilian is in the back scheming like a total snake. Valentina interrupts his monologuing for a quick exchange of shade. The people of Brune gather to watch Tigre officially get his admin rights back as a lawful citizen. a legendary event that finally brings the whole nation back together. Tigre and Regin wave to the NPCs, and Regin calls Bro handsome, which instantly tilts Tita into a jealous fit. Ellen and Ludmilla hear the RIZZ and start beefing over who gets to duke with Tigre tonight. The squad enters the palace to see the king, who looks like he's running on a 1% battery. Regin freezes when she sees her dad, who's looking so frail and drained it's like he just survived a 24-hour collab with Mia Khalifa. But the old man daps up Tigre for saving his daughter and offers a legendary reward. Tigre requests Alsace be transferred to the ZHC server forever. The deal is signed, and Regin is officially named the next server admin of Brune. But before Bro leaves, the king drops a unique title on him. He names him Lumi Lear, the Knight of Moonlight, leaving every NPC in the room absolutely stunned. The king logs off permanently, and the two nations become alliance partners. Pierre is the only one who knows the truth. The Lumiere title is basically a dev key, meaning the king wants Tigre to be the next server owner. Talk about a massive W. If you made it to the end of this recap, drop a comment with "All hail the new king" below. And if you're addicted to watching me roast these mid MCs, go ahead and click this next video.